Welcome, everyone. We're extremely excited. Last night's broadcast with our founder and CEO mindset training was on fire, on point, as always. And everybody—
I like that, as always. That was really good. That was really good.
So everybody turn that mindset on, keep it engaged, because you're in for an amazing broadcast today and a story that many of you do not know. So we're really excited here. So Bob, I'm going to go ahead and start sharing our screen.
All right.
So we can jump into this. So welcome, everyone. I'm Lauren York, Director of Marketing here with our founder and CEO, Bob Reina, and our Global Sales Director, QuiAri. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to you now, Bob.
All right, let's roll. Now, whoop, whoop. Now, listen. Whoop, whoop is excitement. Now, this is what I want to ask everybody, though. And I was asking some people on a chat this morning. I want you to be straight up honest with me, as I am with you. On a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being not so good, and 10 being your best life ever, where do you rate yourself as far as money freedom and time freedom? Put the number for money freedom first, then the number from time freedom next. Let's take a look. Money freedom, time freedom. 1 and 1. Thank you for your honesty. Next up. Come on now. 0, 0. That's even more honest. Cindy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, bless your heart, Cindy. 3 and 1. Keep going, friends. 4. Time after T. Good answer, Chad. You see what he said? Chad's leader. Guess what? He said his money freedom is 4. Time freedom be great when his team hits purple diamond plus. That's a good attitude. What way to go? Hello, hello, everybody else. 4 and 4. All right. Let's get everybody to 10 and 10, right? Because it all, and I did a training on it last night, but it all begins with your mindset. Too many people in the world, you wait until you're rich, or you wait until you think you're rich, until your mindset gets right. The truth of the matter is, you have to get your mind right before the riches come. It doesn't matter your circumstances. It doesn't matter whether your house is beat up, your car is junk, or whatever the case is. You have to get your mind right. Where the mind goes, guess what? The wallet follows. I said it last night. Where the mind goes, the wallet will follow. Next slide, please. Look at that. Now, you're probably wondering, what in the world is that? What that is Bob's house when I grew up. Now, that's a more recent picture of it. My family, we took care of that house. There was bushes there. I remember I had a basketball hoop there. That palm tree wasn't there. That generic U-Haul truck definitely wasn't there. But that is where I grew up. So look at that. So if I wasn't careful, I would be a product of my environment. I would be a product of what? Not the best of houses. But I used certain adverse circumstances to say, you know what? I didn't want to be like that. When I grow up, I don't want to be like that. And it wasn't, should be known, it wasn't because, I hope my dad's not watching this. It wasn't because my dad, we didn't have money, our family. It's because my dad was straight cheap. We went and looked at a house one time. I'm like, oh my God, such a beautiful house. I remember this. Keep in mind, I was probably only 7 years old. Man, 2 stories, had a pool, spiral staircase outside, was led to the pool. I could envision myself being there, right? And I wound up in this dump, right?
What time was it?
Oh my gosh, it's a good question. Could Tim wanted to know, because part of what I do with my kids is show them, you know, a life of privilege came with sacrifice, right? This is where Daddy grew up. Tyler drove by with Christy and I, he goes, Daddy, he says, yeah, he goes, that house is garbage. I mean, with a big emphasis on garbage, right? So I didn't want my house to be like that. Next slide, please. So look who that is right there, boy. Looky, looky. Yours truly, young policeman. That was the day that I graduated from the police academy. With me is my grandmother, who lived to be 99, big inspiration in my life. You can't really see the plaque there, but that is a plaque that is right over here says Tampa Police Academy Award of Merit for professional attitude. Yes. Scholastic excellence. Oh, yes. And personal appearance. I mean, look at that uniform. Pressed, everything straight,
Look good.
looking sharp, right? So I figured, wanted to help people. Law enforcement is a great career. If you're doing it, look sharp while you're doing it. Show up to blow up. Next slide, please. There I am in uniform, right? When I had more hair, kissing Bentley. He was my basset hound, my first basset hound. 20-year-old. He lived to be 20, believe it or not.
Wow.
I was young, boy. Do you see in my one pocket right there, one of those pens that looks like a pen? It wasn't a pen, it was a handcuff key, right? Little police tricks I'm sharing with you. Someone said baby face. I still have a baby face. Then look at me. I had 7 dogs. I've shared this story with you. Shadow, Majesty, Brittany, Lexus, Bentley, Mocha, and Brandy. I would walk all 7 of them every day. Get up in the morning, walk the dogs, come back, blow out phone calls. Afternoon, same thing. Night, same thing. I had the healthiest dogs around. Well, I think Lauren did me a favor. She cut off my head here, but my hair was poofy then. Please hair on a day off. Woo! I still own that house too, by the way, where I used to live. So, memories. Next slide, please. Okay. Now I want to show you how the mind started to grow, right? So what you're looking at on the left, that was my old house, my old police car, my Toyota MR2 in the garage, and notice my street address, 911. What is the irony of a policeman living on a street in a house where it said 911? Whoop, whoop. It means I was supposed to be there. That house is about 1,100 square feet. Then on the right, I took a picture of that house. You want to know why? That was a dream house of mine. That's where I wanted to be. Where I was versus where I wanted to be. Jeannie Dixon is VP in the company. Her and I were looking at that house. I'll tell you a funny story. I don't know why I remember this, but when you go into model houses, they tell you, oh, don't take pictures because then they'll be stealing the ideas, right? So I told Jeannie, I said, listen, I was still a policeman too. I'm like, take a picture. She's like, I shouldn't. I'm like, Jeannie, take the picture. So she takes it and her phone goes click, click, and the gal's coming around the corner. I'm like, Jeannie, you're supposed to cough while you're doing it. I mean, go like, take the picture, then people think you're coughing, right? Come on, Jeannie, I still remember that. Now Jeannie's in charge of the commissions. She's the commission department, right? Well, tons of other departments. But that is where the dream started to roll, right? Next slide, please. Look at how slim I looked. We built our own training center. Look at that. I was up drawing circles. Bob in the binary. I was writing it. See that product display there? Jeannie helped build it. I remember it. She got the felt. We got everything done. It's fantastic. Judy Carr was sitting up front there. Here's another. Look, here's our meeting room. Any given night we got rolling, there'd be over 100 people in there sitting, waiting. We had standing room only, right? That was the first day that we actually set up the training center. It was the very first day. But as we grew, we had to get more chairs, right? Next up. There I am. What? Look at my shaggy hair. And I started to get a little bit of a belly then too. Where was the hair gel? I was sitting next, that was in Dallas, Texas, the very first company that I ever worked, right? I had my little diamond pin because I made diamond ring. I was proud, still have it, by the way. Mike Savage, we went out to the tool company, right? So that little award that we all got, we had a speaking competition, right? A closing competition. Yours truly was the closer. They brought me in for the heavy lifting at the end. And as you notice, we all had a trophy. Big Daddy brought it home. Where the dreams were getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Right? Next slide, please. Through my life, I've traveled the world, inspiring millions upon millions of people all over the world. This was an event in another country where I was throwing out gear, right? T-shirts, you name it. I'll tell you a funny story, though. I threw one of them so high at his chandelier, and that chandelier was rocking. And I'm like thinking, Lord, please don't let that thing fall down. Please. I'm like, everybody get out of the way. I mean, woo, it was a dangerous moment. Rob Roeder was there. Ben and Julie were there. I'm like, woo. But come on, I was throwing some gear, right? Chad, look at those shoulders. Look at those shoulders. You got big bicep, puffing up. But, hey, we're getting it done all over the world. Dreams, international, by far. They never sleep. Next slide, please. This is when Tyler was born, my first son. Hawaii. There's an important lesson here. A lot of people, when you have kids, you're like, I can't. I have kids. You take your kids with you. If you have dreams, you take them with you. Right? I want Tyler to experience that. Tyler's been to Paris. Calls it Paris. He's been all over the world with me. Logan the same. Riley will be the same. I want them to see what hard work takes. I want them to meet people that their dad is inspiring. This is part of who I am. And this is part of the next generation. So I don't ever want to hear, and I talked about it last night, people using their kids as an excuse. Well, you know, it takes a lot to get me mad. Why y'all laughing? But the other day I was talking to somebody and they said, you know, well, so-and-so has kids and grandkids. Boy, they were trying to use it as an excuse as to why somebody wasn't doing something. So here is a mindset check for y'all. If you have kids, let them be the inspiration. Don't use them as an excuse for your desperation. You have to make the decision that you don't want your life to be like that. I have the vehicle. You need to put the gas in the vehicle. So this is a no excuse zone in this company. I've been there, done it, came up through the ranks, man, do you know, please, I used to, when I was working 12 hours as a deputy, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., we were doing meetings at a place called Grandy's, a restaurant. The meeting started at 6:45, which meant I had to get off shift, change. I kept an extra sweatshirt in the police car just in case I didn't have enough time to go home. But when I got home, I would have my uniform off in a second, bulletproof off in a second, have my hop in the shower, take a 3-minute shower, out, gone, dressed, have all my stuff ready to go. I did that time after time after time after time after time. Sacrifice. Until I got the teams to where they needed to be. So the sacrifice came first, then came the riches. Some of you have it backwards. You think it's all about the mind's got to be right. Let me say it again. Where the mind goes, so follows the wallet, right? Next slide, please. Life's a little bit different now for me. A little bit nicer house. As a matter of fact, I can probably fit, let me do the math, about 12 of my other houses into this house. My driveway at this house costs more than my other house. And I'm not saying that to brag. Please don't take it that way. What I'm telling you is what is possible. I can't promise it to you because I don't know how hard you work. I don't know what sacrifices you make. I don't know how consistent you are. I don't know how your mind is. I don't know what the bad habits you have from the other company. I don't know any of that stuff. And unless we get the mind right. So there, yeah, that car that you see there, that was Christy's birthday present. I have some other nice stuff too. There's a black Lamborghini that didn't make the picture, but who cares? That caught fire at one time. That's a whole other story. Next slide, please. Jet flying. You get the message yet? It's about people too. You know, people say, oh, private planes, this, that, the other. Listen, inspire to not get frisked when you go through TSA. Inspire where you don't have to take your shoes off and your belt and your whatever. When you run private, you walk up to the plane, they have a red carpet there. You get up there, they close it, food's ready. We're out of there in 10 minutes, gone. That's how it should be. To upgrade your life, you have to upgrade your mindset. Whether it's in the air or, next please, or on the water. Min Ho can tell you about that yacht. He almost got me killed on it. True story. He was late for a meeting, coming into town. We went out, we got struck by lightning. So, and I mean like literally struck by lightning. That marine antenna that you see at the top of the boat, it got blown straight off the top of the boat. They had about an 80-foot yacht bobbing in the water, had to get sea tow with Shane. Thankfully, nobody got hurt. Thankfully, by the grace of God, nobody got hurt. Yeah, Julie just said, you told us to go inside. I did, Julie. That's a clue. I can smell the rain. And I've lived in Florida too long. Lightning is important. Here in Florida, you got to pay attention to it because it can kill you. And it almost did. So, next up, please. Here in our county, in Hillsborough County, #1 county economically, but also the #1 county for pets that go to heaven because they just don't have a home. Healthy pets, which is a disgrace. So I wanted to help change that because my 7 dogs were loyal to me. So I wanted to repay it to other people's dogs. Because I know for those of us that are pet lovers, if something happens to your pet and you can't afford good health care, you don't love them any less than I love my pets. It just means that your heart hurts more because you can't afford things. So I wanted to help fix that in the community. So I bought 300 plus dog beds for our local animal shelter so that every pet, while they're at the shelter temporarily, could turn around and sleep on a good bed. I have that same bed in my room for Panzer, right? When Christy gets mad at me, I sleep on it. No, I'm just teasing you. It's comfortable. She didn't get mad at me. We have a fantastic relationship. I am so thankful, for my beautiful wife and beautiful life, beautiful kids. And I'm very, very thankful for each of you too. So Thunder Reina was a basset hound of mine that went to heaven too early because of cancer. It definitely was not because he did not afford the best of the best vet care. I think for him back then, I think I spent $50,000 trying to help him live a better life while he had cancer, right? Think about that for a second. Next slide, please. As the story goes, dreams got bigger. I donated $1 million to the Humane Society so that they could build another shelter which provides low-cost spay and neutering and pet care for people who ordinarily could not afford it. Anybody that knows anything about pets knows overpopulation is a key. Controlling it is a key. The number one way that you do it is through spaying and neutering. So I wanted to help make that happen. So I did it, right? But here is something else, which is really, I want you to pay attention to this. And before I even tell you what it is, some of you get, yeah, Bob, that's nice. But what I'm trying to get you to understand is when your mind is right, life has no boundaries for you. You decide the boundaries. Nobody else does. You get to decide. So there was a young lady, her name was Wendy Albano, who her family is trying to raise $100,000 for her to name the feral cat patio after, to take cats from the wild, ear tip them, spay them, trap them, let them be released back into the environment. But at least they wouldn't be multiplying, right? So it was during an economic downturn, and her family could only raise $25,000. There was a $75,000 gap there. Never met her, never had the opportunity to meet her because she went to a foreign country on a business trip, and unfortunately she passed away. She actually was murdered on the trip. Terrible, terrible, terrible story, right? Because I had a listening ear, I heard about her family that you see here in these pictures, trying to raise the 100,000, and they couldn't get it done. So on the ribbon cutting of the Humane Society, nobody knew I was going to do it. Her parents were there, who were married for 54 years. It was their anniversary that day. Her kids were there to celebrate the Humane Society. Little did they know that I gave the Humane Society an extra $75,000 to make their family's dream come true. Still makes me tear up. For my whole life, I'll tear up about it. Helping people is my thing. Inspiring people is my thing. But I've taken you through my life so you can see where I was versus where I am. Where I am is a lot better than where I was. Not just financially, but in a lot of different ways. I really believe that each person has greatness within them. You just have to have the right mindset. And so there are times when I work with leadership, I'm not easy. I'm not easy. But it's out of love. Because life is not easy. Life will sit and make you mediocre, allow you to be mediocre. How many of you here can honestly take people you don't even know and give them a check for $75,000 Humane Society? How many can do that? I know many of you, your hearts are so pure you would, but we got to get your wallet caught up. We got to get rid of the skinny wallet disease caught up. And if you want to know an eerie story, I should have put this in here. I want to teach you something. Right before Riley was born, and she's about 9 months old now, it was late at night, went to let Panzer out at night. He's my German Shepherd. He's a knucklehead. He would be in here hogging the camera if I let him. There's a stray cat showed up at the front of my front door. So Panzer's such a good boy. He didn't want to, hurt the cat. He sniffing around. And I'm like, where did this cat come from? It was cold. It was raining. I mean, of all places, a cat to find my house. That cat knew which house he was choosing. And I was teasing Christy at first, but the story gets better though. So Christy's like, I'm going to feed him. I'm like, if you're going to do that, you might as well let him in because you know he's not leaving. Right? So what happens? Christy feeds him. Next day, we're to the vet. We find out he has a microchip in him. So he's owned by somebody. So our vet said, he's owned. I said, do me a favor. Please call the owner. I want to talk to the owner. My kids had already fallen in love with the cat. I wanted to see what the story was. So I was able to speak to the owner, and his name is LJ. I call him LJ, but he was adopted from the Humane Society, the feral cat patio, if you can believe it, the one I paid for, if you can believe it. And out of nowhere, he made 8 miles to my house. He was a barn cat for somebody. So after I made friends with the owner and told her the story of the kids, the Humane Society, etc., she says, you can have him. He's meant to be there, which I believe. So this is a barn cat that thing sleeps on my head at night. He's purring so loud I can't go to sleep sometimes because he is meant to be here. The world was destined for him to be here. I believe it with everything in me. The same way I believe that the world has destined for each of you great things if you get out of your own way. And that time starts now. We are literally exploding all over the world. I have more leaders coming to visit next week. I mean, the following week. I mean, it's crazy. Holidays, it doesn't matter. There's only one season, which is called 5-minute pay. That's what it's called. So it is time. If you're not where you want to be, get your checkup from the neck up. Reach out to somebody who's helping, which should be everybody, to help you get to where you want to go. Speaking of helping you get to where you want to go, Ms. Lauren, next slide, please. What you got?
This Sunday, so for each and every one of you, this Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern, I will be hosting a comp plan training for each and every one of you, going through all the 7 ways how to earn in 5 minutes, different ways to get paid, all about that. So join me at 9 p.m. Eastern at QuiAriCEO.com, and we will go through the entire comp plan and everything. And then the tail end of the comp plan, we'll go through how setting up your hyper wallets and how to see your commissions and your portal and all of that good stuff. So each and every one of you are welcome to join. So we're excited. We can't wait to see you there.
Yeah, we'll be putting out a message to everybody in the field via email and through Messenger, blah, 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 so that everybody can see it, right? So let me just say this to you in closing. You can get it done. Your kids depend upon you. Your spouses depend upon you. The legacy of ones that have gone to heaven before you are looking down, depending upon you. They want you to be an inspiration. Can you imagine what the world would be like if everybody just helped each other and was just kind to each other and just loved each other? So my thing is people. I want you to be able to dream big. I want you to reach your dreams so that in turn you can go out and help other people do the same thing. That's how the world gets better. It's really pretty simple. But to do it, we got to get busy. We got to act desperate. We got to get rid of the skinny wallet disease. Therefore, you can go out and have your best life. So I hope I was of value to you today. Thank you for being here. Let's get rolling. Plenty of stuff needs to be done. Very soon, we're going to be talking about the rollout plans for the new product. So stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, every 5 minutes, you can get paid. So on behalf of myself, Mr. Katib,
Woo-woo.
he just gave me a
Powerful.
woo-woo in the ear. Woo-woo! Miss Lauren, all leadership, all the VIPs around the world, corporate, thank you. Well, we'll be talking. Talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye, everybody.